What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be part 2 of the last video I just uploaded, which was the day of MGM Springfield's very first tournament. So after I busted out of that, I went and played some cash. Played a pretty monster session. The title kind of gives it away, so I ran pretty well, played a long session, and got into a ton of pretty interesting spots, so this should be pretty fun to go over, and let me know what you guys think about the hands, because I got into some pretty dicey spots here. One thing, I just want to make a quick announcement. I made an Instagram. Feel free to check it out, follow me. I'm going to post some pictures and updates and stuff like that, so if you want to follow me around, let me know, or if you want to know when I'm playing, and if you're from around the area, give me a follow. I'll be posting pictures and updates of what I'm doing. It's called Rampage Poker. The username is in the description below, but let's get into the video. So on this very active table, you can see that many people like calling, especially the ranges of $12 to $15, just going multi-way to a bunch of flops. That's a common theme. So in this very first hand, I have King Jack offsuit, under the gun +2. I'm going to gun limps. I make it $15 and 4 callers, including the limper. So we're 5 ways to the flop of Jack 9 4 rainbow. It's basically an amazing flop for me, basically a middle position to act as well. So when it checks to me, I bet $45, just a standard bet, trying to get value from a worse jack or a worse 9. Folds to the big blind, who makes the call. So now we are heads up. Turn comes the 5 of hearts, 2 hearts on the board now, and the big blind only has about 165 behind. So with how big the pot is, and with basically only a pot-sized bet left, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to bet a smaller sizing. So once he checks, I decide to just jam the whole 165 effective, and he quickly makes the call, which is interesting. And the river is the 2. I end up showing, and he mucks his hand, so scoop that one. Maybe he was on the draw, maybe I charged the max for it, which is nice, or he had a worse jack, who knows. But I ended up scooping that one, so that was pretty cool. The next interesting hand we have here, I have pocket jacks in early position. 1 limper to me, I make it $15. The person in late position calls, the button calls, and the limper calls as well. So not ideal for jacks, but we go 4 ways to the flop of 5, 6, 9 all diamonds. I don't have a diamond in my hand, and on this kind of a board, I don't know. It was a weird board, so when it checks to me, I bet 35, I make a very small bet, hoping to charge the max for diamond draws or whatever it may be, diamonds or straight draws. People were calling me with anything. So middle position calls and the button calls, limper folds. So got one person out of the hand at least, but we're still 3 ways to the turn. Turn comes a very interesting and dangerous card for us. It's a jack of hearts. So not a diamond, and I turn top set, obviously. So when the jack comes, I feel pretty confident in this spot where I should have the best hand most of the time in this spot. So I lead out for $70, and the middle position makes the call pretty quickly, and the button ends up tank jamming for $250 total. So when this happens, it's a very weird spot multi-way, especially if it was heads up. I feel like it would be a much easier call, but multi-wayed, I try to think about what to do exactly in this spot, what the right line is, it's very likely that someone could have flopped the flush or flopped the straight. More likely flopping the flush there, especially when I don't have any blockers. So multi-weighed, it's an interesting spot, especially when the middle position only has 300-ish behind in his stack. So basically, I can call or shove or fold. I mean, maybe I could find a fold in the spot if I really think that someone has it. But when the jack comes with top set, I mean, obviously I'm still alive, and any paired, if any card comes that pairs the board, I'm good, obviously. But I ended up jamming for the rest of middle position stack, which was about maybe 370 total. So maybe it was probably an extra 125, 120 on top of the buttons all in. So I ended up making the jam, and the the middle position player tanks again. This was a freaking huge pot for 1-2, especially on a very active table. He takes a long time and folds pocket threes or pocket fives face up. So I really would have loved to call from him, obviously, but making him fold pocket fives in this spot, it's very interesting. And the river ends up being a 10, so it doesn't really change a whole lot on this board, especially it wasn't a diamond. He shows 7-8 with one diamond, 7-8 offsuit, a diamond and a heart there. So flopped the nuts and had enough outs for the flush, for a low flush, I guess. And yeah, I lose that one. I show my jacks, and it's like, I mean, I just said I really couldn't get away from that, I don't think. I think folding there is a little too nitty, a little too tight. So lost a really big pot there, and go back to the wallet, put some more money on the table, and let's just try to run a little bit better this time. Next, we have 9-7 offsuit in early position. I opened to $15. Yes, I opened 9-7 offsuit to $15. It's kind of the range that I like playing. I like playing a little more loose, a lot more aggressive. Honestly, that's my play style. That's how it's changed so far. So, yes, I opened to $15 with 9-7 offsuit. The player direct to my left, the villain in this situation, he makes the call. The hijack, the button call as well. So, out of position on a pretty big, decently sized pot to the flop. And the flop comes 9-2-2 rainbow with one heart on the board. So basically the best flop I could really ask for with 9-7 off, flopping top pair in this spot. So I lead out for $20, sizing up pretty small because I don't think that a lot of people can call, really. I just wanted to bloat the pot up a little bit and keep people in with two overs and stuff like that. So lead out for 20. My direct left raises to $50 total and folds back to me, and I have a decision to make. I can either call or fold in this spot. I think he's not bluffing here, or really no one really ever bluffs at 1-2, and especially not this player, I don't think. So I put him on a stronger 9, but with top pair, I still have another 9 to look forward to, which isn't likely, but also my 7 is still alive. So for $30 more in this pot, I really don't think I can get away with top pair just yet. So I'm still going to be cautious. So I make the call for just $30 more, and we're heads up to the turn. Turn comes the 5 of hearts, bringing two flushes on, or two hearts on the board. So when I'm first to act, I just check it to him, see what he wants to do. He bets $70, and the pot's about 110 at this point, give or take. And it seems very value-y, to the point where it seems like he 100% has a better 9 in this spot. I put him on ace-9, 10-9, 9-8. But once again, I still have top pair. This was probably a bad call looking back onto it. But at the moment, I still just felt like I couldn't get away, especially just on this board, where, I don't know, I just really couldn't get away from it. I think ace-9 is a very possibility, and that's really what I put him on. But I foolishly make the call, make the horrible call. The river ends up being a 9. So basically card for us where we're not afraid of anything at this point. I end up jamming. I had about 170 behind, or 169 exactly. So I jam for that amount, just being afraid that he might check it down. Obviously, once I put him on 9, obviously he still has a range, maybe like an ace X kind of hand, where he might check down with just ace X. But I ended up jamming here, just trying to get max value. Regardless, I think I would get called 9 times out of 10. Just wanted him to have that option instead of just checking. So he ends up making the call, though, which is nice. And he shows pocket kings. So very interesting spot. I think, obviously, when the river comes, I think it's a really bad card for him. But at the same time, very weird to play pocket kings that way, is just call my $15 raise pre-flop. So he obviously was not happy about it. But I get max value from him and basically double up with a very lucky river card there. So I'm happy to take that down. I don't think I played it very well, especially on the turn, but worked for me this time. After that hand, the run good just starts really coming in and pouring in really hot here. I went through about a good hour where I almost won every other hand possible. So I guess I'll go over a few very quick hands and other ones in detail. But here, next hand, Ace 7 of Hearts versus Queen Deuce of Hearts. Stacked him for $200-ish when the river, or we both river the flush on the Jack of Hearts. He couldn't really go anywhere with the Queen High flush. I obviously scooped that one up with the nut flush. Next hand, we have pocket kings. We went all in pre-flop against pocket nines. We hold. Stacked him for about $200-ish. So that was a quick 400 coming to my stack, and we just continue on from there. Next hand here, we have ace queen off suits in the hijack, and we have 2 limpers to me. I make it $15, and we get 3 callers with I think I have the smaller big blind calling. So we are 4 ways to the flop of ace 10 8 with 2 diamonds. I don't have a diamond in my hand, so when it checks to me, top pair, decent kicker. Obviously, I'm going to bet $35. Try to charge the max on draws. The big blind ends up calling with very little left behind, with like maybe $20, $30, I think. And the middle position folds. And next to act, he ends up jamming for $72 total. I'm obviously not going to go anywhere, so I make the call. Big blind ends up calling for less. He had about 69. He had 69 total. So 2 all-ins, and on the big stack with top pair, we flip over our cards. Turn and rivers are bricks. They were both on diamond draws, and we scoop that one up. So nice to be in that situation there where a bunch of diamonds were already dead, and top pair takes it down. Then we run into ace jack of spades on the button there. So when there's 5 limpers to me, I can't keep having limpers, so I'm going to make it $20. I was really the aggressor for most of the session, if you couldn't tell. But I make it $20. Under the gun calls, and 2 others call behind. So under the gun is the villain in this situation. So we are 4 ways to the flop of jack 7-2 with 2 clubs. Checks to the hijack. Hijack bets $15. And I am not having any of that. Hijack, who bets 15 into like $80 in the pot, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to raise to $60. And under the gun cold calls. So once he calls my 60, I'm a little concerned. I mean, I think I'm just really concerned, honestly. But he could very easily have a jack in this spot. He could have a bunch of different holdings, especially when he limped from under the gun. But regardless, he called and everyone else folded. So now we're heads up to the turn. Turn comes a 5. He checks. I bet $110 now with the size of the pot bloating up. So and he quickly makes the call. So it gets me thinking. Once he calls the 110, I'm not sure what he could have in this spot, or I'm certain. He could easily have a jack. He easily can have a jack. But more importantly, I think he has pocket sevens. That was my read at the time. Honestly, I was really afraid of pocket sevens because pocket sevens very much can limp and call a raise, especially from under the guns. So he was also very deep stacked at this point, with the pot being about $400+ as it is right now. I want to be very cautious about just increasing the size of the pot since it's already big, and I mean, I'm confident I should have the best hand some of the time or a lot of the time here. I still want to be cautious. And the river is a deuce. So it's a relatively safe card, even though it pairs the board. Deuce shouldn't hit anyone. He shouldn't have any 2s ever. But you never know. He ends up tanking and checks to me. And when he checks to me, I feel a lot of relief. and I just remembered like sitting there and just being a lot more relaxed after he checked to me. So I think I'm good here a lot of the time, and I could very much bet for value, but I'm still afraid of being so deep. I cover him, but he has about like $600 behind, and I think I'm just more afraid of betting 250. That was probably the side I was going to go with, bet 250 and getting check jammed on with only top pair and top kicker in this spot, because I don't know, it's just weird. It's 1-2, you never know. But I know he was a competent player, and I took everything into consideration where I'm already up a good amount. I have a lot in my stack, and I'm running really well. I was happy to win the 400 or minimize my losses if he does have pocket sevens and I'm right about it. But I ended up checking it behind. He shows King Jack of diamonds, and obviously I'm good here. Disappointed I didn't get max value, but I guess I'm happy and lucky to win that one with top pair, especially on such a huge pot. Very, very next hand, I'm in the hijack with pocket jacks here. 6 limpers to me again, and I can't keep having the limping shit going on, so I raise to $20, and we get 3 callers. So I'm in position to the flop of 9-7-5 with 2 spades. Early position leads out for $55. So interesting when he leads for $55, but also I'm not that afraid, I don't think, because to me it didn't seem like he was that competent of a player, and I think if anything he is top pair, and maybe a draw or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like I should be ahead, especially on such a safe flop. So middle position ends up folding. Late position player tank calls, and they both have about 150 behind, give or take. So given this with an overpair, I'm going to charge the max on any draws, and I'll get max value from a 9. So I ended up jamming, and early position makes the call, late position folds, and he flips over 9-8, and turn and river do not help him at all, so we win that one again. So ran super hot, absolutely absurd how incredible I ran in this session there. So I ended up playing for about 9 hours. I cashed out for about $19.40. I bought in for $500, so profit of $1,400 in this session. Happy to take it down. So hopefully we'll go to the outro, and hopefully you enjoyed the hand analysis.